Good afternoon, class, and welcome. Today we are going to be going over some information on copyright as your upcoming assignment approaches. This is going to be really important for you to know and understand. So the presentation I have for you today is called Copyright or Wrong: What to Know About What You Use and What You Share Online. So we'll have a lot of information on how to safely use something while citing it if you are using something that someone else used, and also how your information that you create is also protected. So to start off, what is copyright? Say you write a story or a research paper for your class, or even an original poem, you automatically own the copyright to that. It can even be something original that you have drawn. No one has the right to copy that. So copyright is a form of protection given to the authors or creators of original works of authorship, including literary, dramatic, musical pieces, artistic, and other intellectual works. So that information, copyrightkids.org has a lot of great information about copyright and what is included under those copyright laws. So what that means is that the creator of whatever piece of work it is, as the creator, you are the only one to have the right to do anything to it. And by anything, I mean make copies of that work, distribute copies of that work, perform your work publicly, such as plays or film, dances or music, or artwork or stills, or any of the material used on the internet and television. And you are the only one that can make derivative works out of it. So make modifications, adaptations, or other new uses of work. If someone else wants to do anything with your work, they need permission. There is one loophole to that, and that is the concept of fair use, which we will get into that in a little bit. Look here, the purpose for copyright. There are three major reasons for the purpose of copywriting material. If a creator knows what they create will be protected and known as theirs forever, that will give creators an incentive or desire to create more to share with others. Another purpose for copywriting material is to acknowledge that there is a bond or emotional connection between the piece of work created and the creator who took the time to create it. You work really hard on something, you should be protected by it. Just like when you take the time to write something, you put your heart into it and you want it to be yours forever. That's why the third purpose is to protect the rights of the person who created the material and to give them a say on what happens with the material they created or how often others are allowed to use it. So look here, the guidelines of fair use. I mentioned that earlier, that loophole. You are able to use it. The fair use doctrine allows limited copying of copyrighted works for educational or research purposes. Again, copyrightkids.org is a great site that will really give you an outline on what you can actually use it for and how many copies or what for how long. If a teacher wants to reproduce a piece of work to use for classroom use, that is under the fair use umbrella and is okay. Also using it if you're criticizing a piece, news reporting, scholarship, or research, that's not an infringement. Infringement, you ask, what is infringing? What is that? Well, infringing copyright guidelines means you're breaking those guidelines or rules. If you take something someone has made and exploit it, or use it fully and benefit from using it without permission from the creator or owner of that piece, that is infringing on their copyright. If you make money off of someone else's work, you could be taken to court and you may have to even pay fines if you're found guilty of infringing on someone's copyright. The person who infringed on the copyright will also be made to stop using that, whatever it is they're infringing upon. This could be with music, copying a video game you share online, a movie or video, using someone's book or words to your benefit, and more. So why should I care about copyright? Well, that's something that you're probably thinking right now. Why do I have to worry about that? Who's going to know? Right? Well, have you ever worked so hard on writing a story you are so proud of? How about being proud of the art design you doodled on your notebook? or maybe the poem you wrote in the school newspaper. You may have written a song for your girlfriend and it took you so many hours to finish. All of this work that you do is also protected under the copyright laws and stops others from being able to copy what you've done and use it for their own work. As the creator of your work, you should have the right to control what people can and cannot do with your work. So be thinking about that of others. There's someone who worked so hard on something that you're using. You need to give credit where credit is due. You need to, whether you're citing the sources, you're getting permission to use something, right? The right to be able to control your work has made it so people can create and make great things. So the United States, when you think about it, it's one of the biggest places where movies, books, TV shows, plays, and all other things are created. So by having copyright laws, it really has supported and protected the rights of creative people who have created all these things. We want to respect and honor the hard work that they've put into this creating. And by copying it and using it as our own, we are really disregarding that hard work and disrespecting them. And we wouldn't want it done if that was us, if that was in our shoes. So what is protected by copyright or not? So this is a great graphic that was found, again, on copyrightkids.org that kind of gives you an idea of the different things that are protected. So like I mentioned earlier, literacy works, literary works, dramatic works, musical works, artistic things, sound recordings, films, broadcasts, typographic works. All these things are protected by copyright. When do I need permission? Well, to be safe, don't rely on the doctrine of fair use for everything. Make sure to give credit to any creator, whatever you use, whenever you use it, even if you believe it is fair use. By credit, you're citing those sources. You're putting down what you've used from who. We'll get into that a little bit more. You must give credit where credit is due. When in doubt, if you wish to use more than a small amount of someone's work, you need to get permission also to use something or note what you've used. Citing someone's work, you must give credit to the person who has created it. So things to think about. What are you using? How are you using it? And you do need to write or cite who, when, what, where. So who wrote it? When was it written? What is it? And where did you find it? Or where is it located? If you use anything from someone, even if you quote it or just paraphrase it, you think, oh, I just paraphrased it, put it in my own words, you still need to let others know where it is that you found that information. Here's a good thing to think about. When you say something that you didn't already know or something that you read somewhere, you need to cite it. You need to give credit to that source. So you must cite when you use a quotation, when you paraphrase text, when you summarize a text, and when you use facts and other things that are not common knowledge that you did not already know. Some really great sites to check out. EasyBib.com, this guide to citing sources. So EasyBib.com, and Lakewood City Schools has a great MLA manual, and I will give you those links are found later in the resources. But great sites to just give you a guide on what you need to include when you are citing the source. Here are some copyright images that are comical, but also kind of show what you might come across when you are on the internet and you're looking for things. Are these fair use or are these copyrighted? You will notice here, as you can see, these copyright cartoons, they both have a mark of some sort on them to make you aware that these images are copyrighted. So this one has it typed in the corner. And then this one, you can see there is kind of a watermark covering half of the image. These just happen to be cartoons of copyright cartoons as well. So I'd sue them for all the trademark infringement blog, which they're blogs and they're suing, just comical. Quit trying to steal my intellectual property, right here with a boy trying to look at someone else's test. So think of it. It is your information. You would want yours protected just like others. So copyright is different than trademark. You might have heard of trademark infringement. Copyright protects literary and artistic works, where trademark protects a company's sense of identity, like their logo. So there is a little difference there. Just to give you a little bit more information on like I mentioned on the last slide, trademark protects someone's sense of identity, like their logo. So these logos were infringed upon, and the company legally went after the infringing party. As you can see here, Apple Company went after this European coffee house for infringing on their trademark of the apple. Nike went after an Asian company, rightly so, using the same symbol, as well as Lake Mary High School went after the Dodge Company. Dodge Car Company went after Lake Mary High School for using their logo. So the photo on the left was a photo from photographer Art Rogers, and then Jeff Koons did a sculpture 3 years later, and he was sued for copyright infringement using this photographer's photograph to create a sculpture for his benefit. This is a little loophole here in the use of photography of someone else. So on this hand, the artist took the exact photo, and yet when he was charged with copyright infringement, he was pronounced innocent because he transformed the photo into something different. So in some ways, copyright infringement does vary case by case. So you really have to just use your own work. That's how you stay. How do I protect my stuff? You really don't need to do anything to protect your own stuff, because once you create something, you have that authorship. Your work is copyright protected. So there is copyright expiration of 70 years. After 70 years, anyone is free to use your stuff. Copyright does vary from country to country. So if you ever have any questions as to how your work is protected, take a look at some of the resources that I have here. If you look here, a great place to go is Copyright Facts for Kids. That tells you some great information. Copyrightkids.org is a great site here. This Lakewood Public Schools, the MLA Guide, is a great site for you to cite your sources. If you're going to use someone else's work, whether you're paraphrasing or citing, quoting directly, take a look here how you are going to cite those sources. If you look here, back here. Jody Pisani used helping students learn to cite their sources. There's a great site there. That's where EasyBib is mentioned. So this is a great site to look at as well. So just some things to remember. Cite those sources if you are going to use someone else's work. Be original, use your own work, and be proud of what you do and know that your work is protected. And happy writing.